Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video.
I and my ex-husband were high school lovers and had a blissful relationship that whole time. We got married right after graduating college, and our marriage was just perfect. We both started working and managing the house together. Every single moment of us together was amazing, and nothing could do us apart. We were head over heels for someone and could never get enough of each other. We were the most hyped up couple in our school, and almost everyone knew that we were inseparable. As we got married, there was nothing that could disturb our peace of mind or could affect our relationship. We would grow closer every passing day, and I can still not comprehend what made my ex-husband leave me and settle somewhere else. We were married for almost 4 years when my ex-husband told me that he had received a job offer, but it was not in the same state. The opportunity was great and the salary package was also quite good, but my husband told me that he felt reluctant to leave me here and move to that state. I told him that he did not need to worry and I would soon move to that state too if I was able to land a job there. Let me clear you that my ex-husband had told me the state about the company, and I had also seen the letter sent to me by that company, and there was nothing suspicious that would catch my attention. My ex-husband left after a month, and that was the day we talked for the last time. I was waiting for my husband to land so that I could call him, but his number never rang after that. I panicked and kept on trying, but my ex-husband's number was switched off. I went to his mom and told her the whole situation, but she told me that he would take time to settle down and then would call me as soon as he would be free. I was not at all convinced because my ex-husband had never ghosted me like that. A couple of days passed, but my ex-husband had not contacted me, and I could not relax at all. I went to the police station and told them the whole story. They told me that he was an adult and had gone by his own free will, so there was nothing to get worried about. When I insisted, they asked me if I wanted to report him missing. I was so worried, and there was no other way, so I filed a missing report. But my husband could not be found. I also contacted the company that had sent him the letter, and they told me that they had no such recruitment. Years passed, and I had to move on with no sign of my ex-husband. I and my ex-mother-in-law were constantly in contact, and she helped me to move on, saying that I deserved so much more and should not wait for him. Almost 6 years later, I got married to a man who was my colleague, and we had dated for a year. We were quite compatible and had a happy marriage. We were blessed with a baby boy, and life was just perfect. But there was this one thing that would come between us, and it was that I was still not over my ex-husband. He was my first love, and it felt like the child in me still wanted to be with him. I would not discuss that with anyone, but everything around me would make me miss him. I had moved on in a way, but I had never stopped loving him. My ex-mother-in-law called me and told me that she was inviting me for dinner. I told her that I would ask my husband if he would be free, to which she replied that only I was invited and I had to come. I went to her place and she welcomed me warmly, just like she would do since forever. She then told me that I had to sit down and relax while she went to the kitchen to bring something to drink. I sat on the sofa and started switching the channels on the TV, and when she returned and handed me the glass, she told me that she had a surprise for me, but we should have our dinner first. Just when we finished the dinner, my ex-mother-in-law told me that my ex-husband was not missing and had settled somewhere else. I sat speechlessly and looked at her, amazed. She told me that she knew about it all that time and was in contact with her son. My ex-husband had lied about the state and the company, as he had settled in some other state. My ex-mother-in-law told me that he had found out that he was infertile and did not want me to waste my life with him, so that was his plan. She also said that he wanted to see me as he was still in love with me and could not get over me all that time. I picked up my things and left immediately. I have been zoned out since that, and my whole life seems like a lie. I have decided not to see him, but my heart yearns for him. My ex-mother-in-law kept on calling me, but I had no guts to respond. I was equally hurt by her, as that was not the way. My ex-husband could have discussed the matter with me, and we could have found a way or another, but lying to me like that and then going missing was something most horrible a person could do to his partner. He did not even ask me if I had any problems with his infertility. How could my ex-mother-in-law play along as directed by her son and completely ignoring what they were putting me through? My ex-mother-in-law dropped a text saying that he was going to come back to our state after all these years and that he wanted to see me. She went on and said that she had not forwarded my number to him as that might create a problem for me. She kept on insisting that I see my ex at least once as he was dying to meet me. I had made up my mind not to see him, but I still love him, and every speck of me missed him. I'm still clueless. My husband has asked me if there was something wrong, and I have no idea what to tell him. My whole life has halted. I tried my best and had decided not to see him, but I could not convince my heart, so I texted my ex-mother-in-law and told her that I wanted to see him too. She told me that she would inform me when he would be back and then I could go to her place. She told me that she knew it was not easy for me, but I had to brace myself. A week or so passed, and my ex-mother-in-law texted me that he was back. I called her and asked her when she wanted me to come, to which she replied that I could visit her whenever it suited me. I went to her place, and my ex-husband was waiting for me in the lounge. I started crying as soon as I saw him and hugged him with all my might. It felt like I was back home and had found myself after all those years. He hugged me back and told me that there was not a single day that he did not miss me. I started yelling at him and told him that he was a terrible person who thought about himself only and never even bothered to ask me what I wanted. He said that whatever he had done was for my own good. We argued for a while, but we were too overwhelmed to fight at that time. My ex-mother-in-law served dinner, and we could only take a few bites. I left after that, without talking much, as everything had changed, and there was no going back. A couple of days later, my ex-husband texted me and asked me if I could see him. I told him that I had a husband and a kid, and that he was asking me to cheat on my family. He told me that he just wanted to talk about something important, and that would never make me cheat on my family. We decided on a place and I went to see him. I know you guys are going to bash me for that, but only I know how much I missed him. I went to see him and he told me that he was a jerk to think that we were better off without each other and that he had made a blunder. He told me that he wanted to mend everything and it could be done in one way only, and that was to divorce my husband and get back with him. I asked him if he was out of his mind, because I could never do that to my husband who had stood by me all that time. He told me that it was a fact that we loved each other and could never stay happy with anyone else, so it had to be done. He told me that I could think about that and he would wait for my decision. I pondered a lot and knew that I could never love anyone else the way I loved my ex-husband, but leaving my family was not an option. My husband is the nicest person alive, and my kid has my whole world. There was no way I was going to ditch them just because I felt fulfilled with someone who ghosted me for years and did not even care what I was going through. I called my ex-husband and told him that I was not going to divorce my husband so he could move on. I went on and told him that my family was there when he was not, and I could not do that to my family, what he had done to me. My husband tried to convince me and explain things, but I had made up my mind. He even made my ex-mother-in-law talk to me, but I was not going to let him make a fool out of me again. NTA, it is very upsetting to know that OP's ex-husband sort of cheated on her and left her nowhere while he was all settled and good miles away. It was a big smack for OP as she had to deal with everything alone and had managed all by herself. It happens that sometimes a person cannot get over the other, but that does not mean that you let that person ruin you all over again. NTA, the only a-hole here is the OP's ex-husband and his mom, having played an important role too. Even if the ex-husband was a fool and had planned such a thing, his mom could intervene and stop him, but she assisted him in carrying out his plan. I do not understand what a good ex-husband had done for the OP, as she was left puzzled and confused for the rest of her life.
Next story.
My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 26 male, have been living together for the past 10 months. A couple of weeks ago, a friend, 22 female, of mine asked if we would be interested in moving in with her to a bigger apartment, closer to the central area. We decided it could be a good idea, and we had these conditions to move from our current place. Since my boyfriend and I are a couple, we would like to have an apartment with at least 2 bathrooms, so she can have her own and we can have our own. We asked, if possible, to get the bigger bedroom or a small space in the living room so we could fit our working desks there, so this wouldn't affect WFH. I proposed that the 3 of us would divide rent by 3 exactly for a 2-bedroom apartment, even though my boyfriend and I would share the same room because she is in a not-so-good monetary situation right now. She agreed with our terms, and we went looking for an apartment. I found a 3-bedroom apartment that could be perfect for the 3 of us. 2 of the bedrooms were suites, and there was half a bathroom in the living area. She loved the place, and we decided to take it. We would need to wait for 2 weeks because one of the bathrooms was under renovation, so we signed the contract and made the deposits. When we were talking about furniture to buy, I mentioned that since we're 3 people, paying the same money, boyfriend and I would take the extra bedroom to make it an office space for the 2 of us, which she could also use. She doesn't work from home. She protested it and felt angry when I proposed that. She said that she already had plans for the extra bedroom and doesn't see the use for an office. Thus, she doesn't want to waste an entire room on something that she will never use. She said the initial agreement is that we would get a bigger bedroom so we could fit our desks. There's no bigger bedroom. All of the suites have the same size and are quite small, so we wouldn't have space there. She claims that the extra bedroom should be a place the 3 of us can enjoy and wants to turn it into a games/dining room. Her argument? That she likes to cook, and whenever she has guests, she wants a private place for them to sit so her guests and we, boyfriend and I, would not mix together. My argument is that if there are 3 bedrooms and 3 people paying the same amount of money, each person should be allowed 1 bedroom. Our common friends got the story from her side, and a few of them took her side and said that if we're living together, then it's better to have a room the 3 of us can use than to have a room where we would exclude her. Other friends are on my side, though. I don't even want to move in with her anymore. Never imagined that she would act like this. Definitely NTA. If you're splitting the rent equally 3 ways, then the 2 of you get 2/3 of the bedrooms. It's no different than 3 individuals moving into a new apartment and each taking a room. She's asking for extra space that she isn't paying for. NTA, I'm on your side. If she wants the 3rd bedroom for her as well as her own suite, then she can pay 50/50 in rent. I believe in the fairness of rent should be per room, not per person. Utility split should be per person.
Next story.
I bought my house in January 2022. The house has a shared driveway with the house next door. It's really long, maybe like 75 feet, and about twice the width size of a normal driveway. About a month ago or so, the homeowner started renovations on the house next door to rent it out. For the last 3 weeks, there have been some issues with me not being able to access my driveway. They will park their work trucks on the correct side, except at the end of the driveway. They park a large van right in the middle, so no one can get in or out. I've approached the homeowner and explained this is really inconvenient. I either have to hunt down the owner of the van to have them move to get out of my driveway or park 4 to 5 blocks away. Not many houses have driveways and street parking is mainly taken up by then. I asked them not to block the driveway so I can have access to my side. I was told, "Oh, sure, so sorry." It was fine for 2 days. Then it started again. Went back to the homeowner. He owns the company. Same thing. "Oh, sure, so sorry." The next week, I didn't have to be at work early one day. Usually, I'm gone before they get there. But when I went to leave, both sides of the driveway were blocked by huge dumpsters. They were about halfway up the driveway. Not a single person had the ability to move them, as they were dropped off by another company. On a Friday, I called the number on the side of the dumpster and explained the situation. They came out later that day after the work crew had left and removed the dumpsters. I told them they can just place them all the way up the driveway. That way, they aren't blocking anymore. But the company made the decision to remove them completely. Monday comes around and the homeowner is banging on my door. He's mad because the dumpsters are gone. I told him they were placed in the way, that I couldn't get out of my driveway. I work weekends. That wasn't going to work for me. He's exploding with anger that I had no right. All I had to do was ask him to move them. I reminded him that I did. On Friday, when I was told I have no way to move them, I also reminded him that I've approached him twice about not blocking my side. I told him that I don't see him paying my property taxes or mortgage, so he has zero right to assume that he has any rights to my property. He was very loud, a grown man screaming at a woman, that the other neighbors came out to take in the tea. My neighbor, who lives on the other side of me, had said later on that maybe I could have handled that differently, so he didn't lose out on deposits for the dumpsters that he now can't get back. She said I could have asked her, or other neighbors, for his number, which is fair enough, but I feel like since I've already spoken to him twice about the issue, that I shouldn't have to keep going out of my way to access my own property. So I'm asking you all, AITA? I have a shared driveway. Our driveway runs right up against the neighbors, but it's clear which side is which. And the next door property is a large house converted to apartments. Do not back down on your side being your side. Take it from my experience with the awful former landlord of that property. If he doesn't respect your property now, he never will, and the tenants might not either. For me, it went from a little encroaching to people straight up parking in my drive and blocking my garage, to my entire yard being treated like an annex of the apartment building. NTA.